Hey guys, me here back again. Thought I'd make another little viddy-ba-diddy. Oh, sorry, just smashed me shin on a piece of fucking timber. Oh, God, that hurt. Shit. Okay, well, anyway, fuck. Oh, okay, I'm good. Anyway, so, I've been working on lots of things. I'm trying to sort of go through and finish off all the shit I've started, because as you would know from watching my channel, I have a tendency of starting shit and then moving on to something else and never actually finishing it. I want to, but I've just got so much I've got to do. But I don't know, having a few life issues at the moment, and I've got time to reflect and do things, so I'm getting shit done. So you can see I've got the deck between the two caravans built. That's not what this is about today. What I'm filming today is progress on how the battery shed is going, because it's been a bit of a shambling mess. Like, it's all been working, but it hasn't really been finished. So I'm working on getting it schmicky dick, getting it finished, getting it just how I want it. So power out here is just good, because like, I've got the amount of batteries I need, I have the amount of solar I need, I have all the equipment I need, but I'm forever still fucking with shit. So I'm trying to just get everything done properly, finished and nice and neat and just beautiful. So I'll show you where I'm at the moment. Obviously it's not finished, but it's getting there. So I'll turn this camera around and give you a look. Okay, so it's a little bit tight in here. So we'll walk out first, and then we'll walk into the shed so you can see. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the shed here. So obviously not the whole shed is a power shed, pretty much just to where that broom handle is. Maybe a bit further off, about there is where it is, but you'll see as we walk in. So I've got some carpet tiles down here. That's more just because, well, I like carpet and to help minimize the noise from the generator. You would have seen in, I think it was the last video I uploaded actually, I made a generator, and you're probably noticing this looks a lot different to that one. That would be because the engine I was using literally decided to completely shit itself and shoot a rod. So I've brought myself a brand new engine, and this one's a horizontal shaft. So I've had to rig up things a bit differently. That battery actually doesn't even need to be there anymore. That's the old one. And yeah, it actually works quite well. There was a lot of dicking around to try and get things balanced, and because I was hoping to do a direct drive where I could just mount the alternator directly to the shaft of the generator. The only problem with that is the generator motor, well, it spins the wrong direction for the alternator, so I had to face the alternator that way, do it that. And as you can see, I've just done a belt setup, which I'm no engineer, so it was quite a difficult task getting these all nice and balanced and, you know, aligned properly, because I went through quite a few belts just because I didn't have things aligned right. I had a lot of trouble tensioning things. I tried to make my own tensioners, which I still really need to do, because you can see it was very tight, but because it's been used a bit, it's starting to get some slack. So I've still got to try and work out a way to make a good tensioner that's reliable, but it works nonetheless. It's not putting 28 volts out, but it's putting 24, so there's a bit of slippage on the belt, which is not ideal, but it's working and it's doing what it needs to do. So you can see there, it just spins. Obviously those cables aren't usually in the way. I'm doing some work in here today. So yeah, that's a 7.5 horsepower motor. It's got electric start on it, which is nice and handy. Pull start backup obviously, which makes things nice if the battery's dead. A 24 volt, it's not quite 100 amps, I think it's 95 or 98 amps, so just say 100 amps, you know. 24 volt, it's a truck alternator. and yes, it pumps out that, so it can charge at quite a fast rate. We've got the fan here. I've got to mount that a little bit better because you can see when I turn it, I'm scraping the metal, but I can fix that up. That's just, and obviously it's not aligned properly either. I want to cut that better and do that better. So but more or less it works. So there's a switch for that. So if I ever have power go out, all I've got to do is start that up, and instead of having a generator which just gives you power and that's it, this will give you power and charge the batteries at the same rate. So when they run out of petrol, the system will still work because the batteries will be charged. It's also a good way if you get rainy weather just to keep your batteries nice and boost. So yeah, I've got that in there. You can see I've started to soundproof the whole thing, so all the way around is soundproof. That bench is soundproofed. I'm gonna make soundproof doors. When I say soundproof, not soundproof, it's just, it's just about the best sort of sound insulation I could find from Bunnings. Obviously you can see here I've got a bench that I've made, so it's insulated. This wall here is where all the stuff's going to be mounted. It hasn't been rigged up what I'd say professionally yet. I've got to put I've got a lot of stuff, like I've got bus bars and fuses and breakers and all that bullshit I've got to wire up there, but at the moment it's just rigged up basic, just so I've got power. That from the inverter that runs to this big giant power board here, which means I can run whichever building or thing I need to run power to. I simply run a lead. I've got to do these neater, but run power lines, they come through, it comes through here and you just plug in there. So that keeps power nice and simple. Don't worry, that's the battery for the lawnmower that I haven't finished yet. Another issue I've encountered is, it's probably a bit of a no-brainer to some people, and I am aware of it, is battery balancing. So I've always been completely aware that with lithium batteries you need to run BMSs, otherwise they won't balance properly. But I've run into a lot of issues with my lead bank here not balancing properly. And I mean balancing badly, like some will be way out, like 17 volts and 4 and all over the shop, and these are all brand new batteries, so I didn't want to fuck them up, so I've had to manually balance them. And I was looking at BMS systems, and it's very difficult to near impossible to find a BMS system that will work with lead batteries because they seem to be going obsolete. And it's like, well, I still want to use lead and there's still nothing wrong with them, and they're still the cheapest option I have. So what I thought I'd do is, I remembered I had the BMS from my ute, and even though it's for my ute, unfortunately the ute's not going to be finished for a while, and that BMS is a Ziva BMS, which is, I would buy another one, but unfortunately it's gone out of business now, and well, no one makes a BMS like Ziva, and I don't know why, because they're fucking brilliant. You can just program it for anything. So I thought, oh well, it's not being used for ute, I need power, so I repurposed it for my off-grid system here. So I'll show you what I've done there. I'm still currently wiring it up. Oh well, I've mostly wired it up. I have run into a bit of an issue though. So you can see there's the actual BMS unit, there's the EVMS. So that's obviously, you can use that for electric vehicle, but they're also, you can use them for an off-grid system. And then I've got my display here which tells you all the information. The only issue I've run into is, again, I didn't realise as well, they don't make the even Ziva are only designed for lithium, which is fine. I can still use it for lead, but if you go into your settings here, like I'll show you, so we got enter setup, max voltage. You can see you got your general settings, parameter, BMX max voltage. The maximum it lets you go to is 4.5, and I need to go to 12 because, well, these are 12 volt batteries. So what I've had to do, jump on the old eBay and order a bunch of 4.5 to 12 volt step up converters. So each one of those balance leads will have to go to one of those step up converters, which will then will bolt onto the battery, which then will make that BMS work to be able to balance all these batteries properly, so I won't have my power cutting out prematurely just because I've got batteries that are out of balance. Because that's the issue. Like, you can have plenty of power, but if you've got a couple of batteries, or even, in my case more, it'll just fuck out the power. It'll turn off because it thinks it's dead, and it just, everything throws out. So yeah, that's the issue I got at the moment. Luckily, if I do have too much of an issue, all I do is start that up, and because it pumps out the right voltage, it just, makes the inverter run, and you run it for a bit, and it seems to bring the batteries back to an alright state. But obviously it's not ideal, so I've got to wait another week or two for those converters to arrive so I can finish wiring this BMS up. But apart from that, the BMS is ready to go, because you can see I've just unplugged it for now. So that's all the balance leads there. They run all to the right terminals. Once I actually do it properly, I'll zip tie and make sure that's all tidied up nicely. But I guess while I wait for them to arrive, I'll probably start doing this sort of stuff here. So I'll show you what I've got to do here. Where's me some bulbs? Let me pause this and I'll go find some things. Righto. So I've got these bus bars here, and the reason I've got these is because at the moment I've got basically the solar, so each solar array, the lead comes through and just goes into a charge controller. That's fine, that doesn't bother me too much. The main one that's irritating me is I've got every one of these controllers plus the inverter going to the batteries plus the balance lead, and you can just see it's just a mess. There's just too much shit in the terminals. So what I want to do is I'll probably have to rearrange shit up here, but more or less basically these will be mounted. All the battery leads from the charge controllers can go to these, and that keeps it all tight instead of them going everywhere. So they just go neatly to these, and then simply then we'll have just basically there'll be thick battery leads going from this to the battery, and then I'll decide if I want to go from the battery or if I want to go from this to the inverter, and that will tidy all that shit up. Once I've got that tidied up, I'm pretty happy with this setup here, because generally speaking what I'm doing is, instead of having one big giant switchboard in here which controls the whole property, every building is going to have its own switchboard. So this caravan has, you can see it right there, this caravan has a switchboard, the other caravan there has a switchboard, bathroom has a switchboard, workshop has a switchboard. That way each one of those switchboards has a lead that runs to here, and you can choose which ones to isolate by pulling the cord out, or you can just turn the switchboard off. Honestly, that may seem illogical to some people, but for me that's logical. My brain can work with that, and I like that. So yeah, I think that's most of that. I'll run you through, but I'm going to finish off in here. So obviously you can see there's another little desk here. I just want to be able to put, sort of make it a little office in here, because it's just a good spot to make an office. So put my computer, printer, also You can with these ones, but eventually when I've got the money, because as you can see with these, they all work, but I've had to fix them. And that one, well, that's the weird thing, is this is the newest one here and nothing has to be fixed, but it doesn't work properly. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with it, but anyway, these all work fine, but you can see I've had to fix them all. They're a bit janky. I wouldn't mind getting some new ones when I have the money, and they all have even these ones do, but I've lost the cable and CDs and shit. But you can plug them into a computer and it just gives you all the stats, because one thing that I find frustrating is the displays on these, they're just a bit limited in what they can tell you and what you can adjust and that. So it'd be nice to be able to have the computer here just to be able to see things. The BMS is not so much an issue. That screen there tells you plenty, but that's all neat and tidy. But yeah, just a place just to have a little computer, bloody printer, all that shit, just a, chair. Again, that's going to be a soundproof wall there. There's going to be a doorway here. In here is going to be sort of just mostly storage, which as you can see it already is. But I got a cool idea. Because I kind of want to store my lawnmower and stuff in there, because, well, it's close to power to charge it and whatnot. So instead of just making like barn doors and putting stairs or a ramp or something, what I thought I'd do is make a nice strong steel frame door. There's going to be a winch each side, top and bottom. The button, that way the whole thing can lower down, turn into a ramp, so you can get things in and out easy. And then you close it and the winches go up and they pull the whole door up nice and closed. So that's my plan for there. And yeah, like I said, that'll just be a storage area, and then that side will be, I'll just put a staircase there, just go up to that one probably. And that's my plans for the power shed and where it's at the moment. So it's coming along quite nicely. I'm happy with it. I am. It really is. Like I said, I insulate I got to finish insulating it all, but getting there. So yeah, I think I'll leave it at that for this one, guys. That gives you a bit of an update on what I'm doing. I'm doing heaps of other shit, but I'm trying to keep focused, so I'm trying to focus on this and get as much of it done as I can before I move on to the next thing, because I really want to get this sorted, because power is one of the most important things out here and I really need to get it. It's reliable enough, but I want to get it just perfect. So yeah, fingers crossed, guys. Touch wood. I'll see you in the next one. Hope yous are doing well. Yeah, I'll catch you later.